wife and I both actually grew up here at First Baptist from an early age, infancy actually, and we were both saved under the preaching ministry of Dr. Lindsay.
This church has a great emphasis on personal spiritual disciplines such as prayer, scriptural devotion. There's also a strong emphasis on sharing your faith and being bold.
In college, when I interned with the church I was at up in Nashville, they suggested I go to seminary. It was in seminary that I actually met a pastor named Jared Wilson, who used to be a pastor up in Vermont, actually. And I was telling him sort of our desire to go somewhere in the United States that was not predominantly a Christian area. And he basically said, I know the place for you. And he told us about the Net Center, which had a remarkable track record of sending out successful pastors and church planters into the New England area. Less than 4% of New England, or New Englanders, actually attend an evangelical church. And that's broadly evangelical speaking. We're not even talking about good churches here. And so the population as a whole is actually very secular. The state we're going, Vermont, is, according to a 2016 Gallup poll, the second least religious state in the Union. So we're hoping to make a dent into that. Through church planting and revitalization, we hope to bring the gospel back to an area that was once a Christian center in North America, with figures like Wesley and George Whitefield and Jonathan Edwards, and these men of Christ who preached the gospel for years and years and saw a remarkable work of the Spirit in their times. When you plant a church in New England, there's no transfer growth because there are no Christians in the area who are interested in just coming and seeing what your church has to offer. And so evangelism is such a necessity in churches, in all churches, but especially in New England. I would say that God has placed us all in unique situations where we can bring Him glory. And so I would say not to focus too much on whether God is necessarily calling you into ministry, but being faithful wherever God has placed you. And I think there's so much good for the kingdom that anybody can do for God, regardless of the career path that you take. Because when we love God with all of our everything, then no matter what we do, whether we're a teacher, a lawyer, a banker, or a missionary to Zimbabwe, we're going to be bringing God glory through that and doing it through the local church.